Hello and welcome back to DocTrack Training. For this lesson, we'll look at document profiles. Earlier, we saw how you can generate and attach reports through DocTrack, even if you don't have permission to make attachments through DocTrack Flex. Also, we looked at all the things that can happen when you select the Print DocTrack button. While we covered most of these, we now want to look at automatic emailing and printing a hard copy when it's required. To manage a report through DocTrack, a DocTrack administrator in your company will set up a special record like this called a DocTrack Form Output Profile. Now, you don't need to worry about how it works. It's enough to know that this is what changes the Print button to Print DocTrack. To set up automatic emailing for the report, the administrator will fill out this section, which determines how the From information will appear to the recipient. But notice that on this form, there's nowhere to put the To information. This is likely where you come in. In Sightline, you'll find two forms: Customer Document Profiles and Vendor Document Profiles. You'll use these to maintain email addresses of the recipients at each company for each report. Let's start with the Vendor Document Profile form. These are all the reports that you can automatically email to vendors through Sightline. And nearly all of them can be managed through DocTrack. If your role in the company is purchasing or accounts payable, it's likely that you'll be asked to maintain the email addresses here. For example, let's say that I'm Claire Summers, and I need to set one of these up for purchase orders to Vendor 1, Bicycle Parts Company. I'll start by selecting them from the vendor dropdown and then choosing the email method. Next, I'll enter the email address that they use for receiving purchase orders. This might be someone in sales or customer service. Or perhaps it's a generic email address that they've set up just for receiving purchase orders from their customers. Regardless, Claire knows that it's her responsibility to not only find out the right email address, but to maintain this record in case it changes. But first, I want to verify that it works. So I'll put Claire's email address here, and I'll generate one as a test. If she receives it in her email, she'll know it works. Then she can come back and change it to the vendor's email address. By the way, you can add additional email addresses here too. Just separate them with a semicolon. Next, I'll select Purchase Order Report as the task name. The description is optional. So finally, I'll want to make sure that this profile is active. And that's all there is to it. Let's try it out. Claire has just entered this purchase order. When she selects the Purchase Order Report button, you'll notice that our button says Print DocTrack. We don't need attachments for our test, so I'll just select it. Now let's see if it worked. We'll open her Outlook and refresh it. And here it is. As you can see, they've configured the outgoing emails with this nice HTML file that includes our PO number and active links. And here's the attached purchase order. DocTrack added the header and the footers and automatically bundled the purchase order with our terms and conditions. Sweet. Okay, that's good for reports that get emailed. But what about vendors that need to get their purchase orders through standard mail? Well, typically that's not something you'll need to set up. The DocTrack administrator can configure it so that it will print out automatically if there's no document profile set up for a particular combination of report and recipient. Now, if you have a situation that requires you to email and print the report, just add a second document profile for the same report and recipient and select the printer method. Then you just enter the name of the printer you want to use in the destination field. You can also choose to print more than one copy if you want. Now let's check out the customer document profile form. Here are the reports that can be emailed automatically through Sightline. And again, most of these can be managed through DocTrack. The customer document profile is like the vendor document profile with one significant difference. Customers often have more than one ship to address. So you'll need to set up one of these records for every combination of customer, report, and ship to address that will be receiving their reports by email. The only exception to this is the order invoice report. When DocTrack tries to email it, it will first look to see if one of these exists for the combination of report, customer, and ship to. If it doesn't find one, it will then look to see if one is set up for ship to 0. If that one exists, that's the one it will use. Now let's open a special form called DocTrack Document Profile. This form is just like the other forms. So why is it here? Well, if you open the task name dropdown, you'll find some additional reports that are also distributed. Sightline doesn't include document profiles for these reports, so we did it ourselves. For example, if you issue RMA verifications, you can maintain the email addresses for that report in this form. Now, one last thing regarding these document profile forms. You'll notice that in addition to printer and email, there's another option for fax. You don't want to set these up unless you're sure the company has configured automatic faxing in Sightline. If they have, and you need to send the report to the recipient by fax, just select that method and enter the fax number here. Also, there are fields you can populate to select the proper cover sheet for your fax. Check with your technical folks if you need more information on how to set these up for faxing. That covers the 3 document profile forms. And that's all for now. On our next lesson, we'll learn how to drag and drop attachments with DocTrack saving rules. See you then.